美国是一个移民大国，在政坛上表现亮眼的台裔华人不只有刚刚前面所介绍的那3位，在波士顿还有一位优秀的台裔华人吴弭 Michelle Wu。35岁的吴弭出生自台湾移民家庭，现在是担任波士顿市议员有将近7年之久，而目前更且是担任波士顿市议会的议长。她是波士顿市议会里头第一位非白人的女议长。在政坛表现突出的她，现在已经宣布要投入波士顿市长的选战。我们今天就非常荣幸可以跟她做现场的连线。Michelle, you were elected Councilor of Boston in 2013 and was re-elected 3 times, and now you are running for mayor of Boston. You are really a pride of Taiwan. And what made you get into politics in the first place, and why would you want to run for mayor?
I never expected that I would be in politics. Growing up, my parents had come from Taiwan to the United States. I'm the oldest child, and so they had immigrated to the United States right before I was born. And growing up, we were supposed to just get a good, stable job that pays a lot of money and keeps you out of trouble, nothing related to politics. What happened was my mom had some struggles, and in struggling with mental health challenges, I, as the oldest child, ended up raising my sisters, who are much younger than me, and also taking care of my mom. And in that process, I saw just how much government matters, especially the most local city level of government. And whether we were trying to get my sisters to the right schools, or take care of my mom and her health, or open a family business, it always seemed that we were having to fight government in some way just to get what we needed. And so that's what got me interested in trying to serve in government. I still didn't expect to run for office as a politician until I was in law school, and my professor was Elizabeth Warren. And so then I met someone who was involved in politics and decided to help her and learn so much from her as well.
So you also helped her in the very beginning stage when at the time Democrats still hadn't decided which candidate will be running for Democrats, right? I recall right now. And the news, and as an Asian American, do you think your ethnicity is an advantage or a disadvantage politically? Why?
Yes, it's a very hard question, and one that I have talked with many other Asian American elected officials in this country about. We saw at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic that Asian Americans here became a strong target for hate crimes and assaults, and the president of our country was really encouraging that in a lot of ways with how he described the virus and all of that. And so we have a history of experiences in this country that reflect a perpetual foreigner stereotype, reflect many, many ways that Asian Americans have been marginalized or invisible or not participating as much or openly targeted. And so in this time in our country where we are talking a lot about race, we're talking a lot about what it means to include everyone, when you bring a perspective, having experienced that firsthand and having grown up knowing exactly how that feels, I think it helps connect with people, definitely. I wouldn't say in most cities, outside of California and in certain places, there isn't a majority of Asian Americans in the population. And so as an Asian American in elected office, you can never just win based on Asian American support. It's really about building a broad coalition. And I think any politician would say they represent all of their constituents, no matter who voted for them or who didn't vote for them. And I think my job in Boston is to really try to make sure to connect our community's issues with every other community's issues as well. And then build that infrastructure across the country for more and more Asian Americans to feel like they have a voice in politics.
Talking about being connected, your parents came from Taiwan. In your opinion, how can the U.S. and Taiwan deepen the bilateral relations?
Yeah, Taiwan is such a good example in so many ways to the United States about how to invest in the sustainability of our future, how to really think about technology and climate. And I've been back to Taiwan several times, and I've seen, I think the most recent time was it must have been in 2014. And so it's been a little while, but even then I learned so much on that trip about how much planning and coordination and focus on human capital goes into Taiwan's democracy. And so we as a country, I think, need to be very mindful of all of the ways in which we should be learning from others, and particularly when it comes to this coronavirus pandemic.
Yes.
Taiwan has really led the world in showing how much it is possible to take care of people and do the right thing for your economy and for your people.
You are the first woman of color to serve as president of the council in the U.S., and if you win the election, you will be the first female mayor of Boston. In Taiwan, President Tsai Ing-wen is our first female president. She has done a very great job in leading Taiwan to combat the virus. Do you think that women are better leaders?
If you look at the data, right, I'm biased in my own opinion. Of course, I think that women bring a lot to the table. And in fact, so many of the criticisms about women leading, that we, get too busy with kids, or that we are, some people criticize women for being more emotional or this or that. I think all of those attributes of understanding how complex our lives are, being collaborative and approaching leadership differently, those are all very important attributes for leaders to have. And if you just look at the data, so many of the countries that handled COVID in the best way, that ended, basically contained the virus early on, saw the most, protected their residents and minimized the tragedies from COVID, they were all countries led by women. I don't think that's an accident. And I really believe that when you put moms in charge of any project or in any positions of leadership, there's something additional there about knowing the urgency, feeling compelled to take care of everyone, and doing so in a way that you're able to balance all of the considerations that are there.
I really like your answer. Okay, my final question now for today. What is your impression on Taiwan? And do you still recall your childhood in Taiwan? But just now I heard that you were born in the United States. So what is your message for your family and friends now in Taiwan? They are watching right now your interview.
I am so grateful and just so honored to count myself as part of the diaspora that is connected to Taiwan. I know that Taiwan is a society and a country and a democracy and an economy that is a model in so many ways. And for me, it's also so many stories about my parents' childhood and the experiences that I've had each time that I visited. I feel so much at home when I get to be there and appreciate all of the advances and all of the investments that the country has made in incredible public transit, in culture, in building connections with other communities and other countries. I keep saying, I hope one day Din Tai Fung will have a branch in the United States. I would be so happy to come to Boston.
Yeah, we'll try to make it real.
But there's so much that I feel connected to Taiwan still. I talk about it all the time. And I know that legacy lives on in me and so many others who are part of the history of this special place.
Great. Thank you so very much, Counselor. You are really a pride of Taiwan, and we wish you all the best in all your pursuit in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.